yeah, there's a chance that we get to the end of this and I've done this all completely wrong, but I think I understand.
Alright, so last time we talked about quarantine bucket list. It's good to get some lists, some order. I'm a big fan of Watch Mojo and pretty much anything that ranks anything. So that was fun for me. But to go on a more national treasure scale, like we talked about in the last podcast.
Let's do it.
We're going to do a Mount Rushmore. And this is a Mount Rushmore. It's not a very ordinary Mount Rushmore. It's a very subjective Mount Rushmore, and it's the Mount Rushmore of pet peeves. Let's see how well my microphone picks up my P's. So I'm just going to start it off, and I'm going to say one of mine, and then you can say one of yours, and we'll just go back and forth.
That sounds great, yeah.
My first pet peeve, and this is one that just really bothers me, and I can't give you a reason why it bothers me. My girlfriend Caroline, she does this all the time, and she knows that it just makes me absolutely livid. And it is when people call drinks yummy. Now, hear me out. Hear me out.
All right.
Drinks aren't yummy. There's so many adjectives you can use to describe a beverage. And I would just use yummy as an adjective to describe a food. And that's just, I guess that's just my personal opinion, but it really makes me mad whenever people call drinks yummy.
Hit me with some, okay, if I'm going to go along with you, you got to give me like what are my options to praise a beverage? Like,
yeah, there's tons. It's like, this is so refreshing.
Okay.
You could go classic and say, this beverage is, it's just darn good.
But you think yummy should be strictly kept with food.
And here's the reason why, and this isn't very great reasoning, it's not very solid, it's just what I think. The root of yummy comes from the saying, yummy in my tummy. And I don't know why, but when I think of a tummy, I don't think of the liquids that I'm taking in. I'm thinking of the food that I'm eating.
Interesting. And it all becomes liquid eventually, but most of it.
Most of it.
But yeah.
All right, hit me with one of yours.
That's definitely a pet peeve. All right, that's a pet peeve because that is very niche, or niche, I guess is the correct way to say it. All right, my first one is like, it's kind of a complicated issue, and it also makes me seem like kind of a jerk, but I'm just going to go with it. It's like when people, okay, so like, I'm just going to throw out like a hypothetical scenario. So it's like, you've got someone, and they're telling you a story, and like, the story hits hard, and it's funny, and like, you end up really enjoying it, and like, everybody's laughing. You're like with a group of people, and then they like feel like they're on a roll, and so they just keep going, and they keep going, and it gets to the point where like people aren't really laughing anymore, and you feel like you have to laugh to keep it going, and that gets on my nerves so much. And it's just like, I think it's more of just like a social awareness thing of like, you got to quit while you're ahead, but that really gets me going. And I know that sounds really mean, and it's like, I still love people. I know people like that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I do know people like that.
Just say me,
and like,
Samuel.
I still love them.
We all know it.
You've done it. You've definitely been guilty of this before, but like, I wouldn't accuse you. Like, if I had to think like someone's there, I'm not gonna like point at Jack necessarily. But yeah, you have done it before. But I think I do it too. I think everyone does it, but it really gets on my nerves if I happen to notice it. And I guess like to go along with that, I guess this is sort of a tack on. It's just like when people get a little bit too chummy, like so there's like 5 people hanging out, and then like 2 of them all of a sudden get like really chummy with each other and everybody else is just kind of like watching. I really am not into that either. I don't know how that relates, but I feel like it relates.
Would you say that's more in a situation where I guess you're in middle school and it's a guy talking to a girl and then they get too chummy and then there's just the people on the outside looking in? Is that what you're saying, or are you thinking just like group of guys, boys being boys, 2 people are clicking and then it's just outside looking in?
Yeah, I think it's more of boys being boys. I don't, yeah, like if someone's a couple with a girl, like I'm not going to stop them. But yeah, for some reason,
that's
like
just
it gets
bro
on my
code,
nerves
man.
a little bit. Exactly.
That's just bro code.
Hit me with another one.
All right, my next one, and I've experienced this one, especially in the pains of having school online, and I'm not trying to point anyone out specifically, and I'm sure I'm sure the person that I witnessed do this is definitely not listening or watching this podcast, but it's when you're on a Zoom call, Google Hangouts call, a video chat, group video chat with a lot of people, and there's the one guy who's wearing a tank top. He's wearing a bro tank.
Oh,
and
no.
I don't know why that makes me so mad. It just does. And I can't explain it, it just does.
It's specifically on Zoom calls though? Like in person it doesn't annoy you? Or it would annoy you if it was in person?
I think it still would annoy me in person. I'm not gonna lie. Especially like there's a time and a place for a bro tank. Let's just be honest.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
if you're at the beach, like I'm not gonna look at you smugly. And if you're at the gym working out, I'm not gonna ask you to take it off because that just makes the problem worse. There's a time and a place. I'll just say that. I
agree with that. I'm a big fan of like people dressing nice, you know, like I've kind of experienced this too. Like today I had a test, and so on a Zoom call, how that looks is like everybody's got their window up so the teacher can watch you take it. And like there's definitely 2 types of people. The type of people that like are still like dressing nice outside of school, and the type of people that like were definitely just in their pajamas. And it's like, I don't want to be a hater, but also because all of my points are making me look like I'm a hater. But I love it when people like at least put a little bit of effort in. Like it doesn't have to be much. I'm fine with just a t-shirt. But yeah, but the tank top, I'm anti-bro tank as well, especially on Zoom calls.
Yeah, thank you for backing me on that one. All right,
Oh,
let's hear one of yours.
All right. Another one of mine is I don't necessarily like when people chew with their mouth full, but like that's fine. That's not necessarily like a pet peeve of mine. What I do hate is when my mouth is full and then someone asks me a question, because that's like putting me in that position where either I'm going to annoy the other person, or I'll be honest, I choke on food a lot. I like very easily like choke and start coughing, and that is just setting me up to die. Like it's setting me up for a Heimlich maneuver. And so I don't know. I feel like it's only happened to me a few times, but I was just thinking about that recently, and I was like, yeah, I really hate that. Have you had that kind of experience?
Well, if I ever wanted to kill you, I know exactly how I would now. I would just bring a questionnaire to dinner. I really haven't had that experience. I see whenever people do that to me, it creates an opportunity for me to maybe show some of my improv sketch comedy skills and play it off as a joke.
I like that.
Maybe talk a little bit with my mouth full. Invert their expectations.
Exactly. What's your third?
All right. My third is, okay, and this is a pretty bad one, especially like in this culture, in this climate. It's when people ask you questions that they know you don't know the answer to. And here's an example, and this is a very poignant example. During COVID-19, I've had multiple people, and I've overheard this question multiple times, where people ask, when do you think this is going to be over? And it just annoys me so bad because they have no idea. They don't have to have any idea.
Mm.
Like, there's very few people that have any idea when this is going to be over. So just
That's
asking
true.
that question annoys me so bad. So that's my third.
Interesting.
It's a quick hitter.
That is a quick hitter. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that, but I get it. I see. And I'm wondering, when do you think all this is going to be over? I'm just kidding.
I think that I have no idea, and you have no idea either.
Amen to that, brother. All right. My third is, okay, I had experience with this kind of recently. So I hate it when people pass me on a one-lane road because they think I'm going too slow. By one lane, I guess I don't actually mean one lane. I mean it's two lanes, but only one lane going my direction, one lane going the other direction. So I visited my girlfriend. I guess this was about a week ago, and keeping safe social distancing procedure.
You don't need to lie to me, Samuel.
I'm sorry, but she's within my circle. That's my argument. She's within my circle, and on my way back, I was driving, and I don't know. I like to drive at a safe pace, but I go the speed limit. A lot of people diss me for not going like 5 over because apparently that's safe, but I go exactly the speed limit. I'm going the speed limit, and there's a Range Rover behind me, and he swerves onto the other lane, drives on the other lane, and then goes in front of me. What he doesn't realize is there's a car coming in the other lane, and he barely makes it back over in time, and it made me so mad. Like, I've had that experience before because I am kind of a slow driver, and it's like, I get that. But, like, I would have pulled over if there was a pullover opportunity and let him pass. But that was, like, so dangerous. He endangered, like, all 3 drivers' lives. Oh, my goodness. It really irked me. And then he drove really fast away, so I didn't even get to, like, honk or anything.
Yeah, you know what I call people like that?
Hit me.
Dummies.
Amen to that. Yeah, but...
Okay.
Yeah, that's my third one, definitely.
All right. So, wrapping this up, we'll go each other's fourth one real quick. And
right.
Just to preface this one, I'd say this one is my George Washington. This one is my most prominent one on the Mount Rushmore, and it happens so frequently to me, and I just can't deal with it. And that is when you say something and then people immediately respond with what? Like they didn't understand you, but they know exactly what you said. You know I'm
guilty of this. I do this a lot.
Do you do this?
I'll own up to it.
Well, a lot of people do this. Let me just give you an example. So, say I was talking to Samuel. Not saying that he does this. He might do this. I don't really can't remember off the top of my head. But if I'm talking to Samuel, I say, "Hey, how was the game last night?" And he goes, "What?" And then I would just stop, look at him, and then he would say, "Oh, it's pretty good." It's like, why do you ask me what if you heard what I said and can answer the question?
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of this. That's your George Washington, the number one. Yeah, I think when I do it, it's a little bit quicker. I'm like, what? Oh, the game was good. We won 3-4. But yeah, I'm definitely guilty of this, and I understand why it's annoying, because I get annoyed at myself. Afterwards, I'm like, why do you say what? But I just don't take the time to like process and answer. I want to immediately respond. I respect that. I respect that as a pet peeve. Let's see. All right, my last one is yeah, sure thing. My last one is so it's like when people tell you to do something that you're already going to do. And this isn't super high on my list of Mount Rushmores. This is probably like I don't know, it's probably my Thomas Jefferson. But just like, you know, the kind of thing where it's like, you're like with your family at dinner, you know, and like, say maybe you have some relatives with you, say like your aunt, and like, I was going to pull the chair out for my aunt to sit down at dinner, to be a respectful gentleman. And then my dad's like, pull the chair out for your aunt. It's like, okay, you just undermine me in 2 ways. First of all, like I was already going to do it. Second of all, now it looks like the only reason I'm doing it is because you told me to do it. And that's just like, that is just lethal to me. But it's like, I won't hold it against them too much because I know they're just trying to make me aware. But I want people to have confidence that like, I'm a good person and I'm going to make the right moves.
Yeah, that is very annoying. Especially like when somebody tells you to do something, there's a little part of you that just immediately doesn't want to do it.
That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great list.
Thank you.
So if you stick around, we will be going through a little bit of story time with Samuel.